Welcome back. All right, so the reverse retros have been released 1 through 32. I will rank them, but I'm going to say this. They really got it right this time. I think this round of reverse retros looks better than the first round. I think that there were some teams that took more of a chance, were a little bit of a riskier move on which jerseys they picked from their past. And yeah, we're not going to see it again next year. What I've already read is that it takes a while to throw this together. It takes 18 to 24 months to produce, so you have to have a 2-year window where you're getting the design and all that done. And of course, when you consider contracts for Adidas and everything, this might be the final round for Adidas when it comes to the reverse retros. So 1 through 32, I will link in the description to this video the announcement where you can see all 32, and then you guys can come back and let me know what you think. If you haven't seen them yet, again, click on the link in the description of this video, and then we can discuss amongst ourselves. And again, taste is different, right? So number 32 on the board is Chicago. Now, Chicago has surprised me a bit. Not having the logo on the front, the primary logo, it's just a Chicago word mark. The logo goes on the shoulder. The interesting thing is, so I'll just read you what the NHL is saying. The 1983 Chicago uniform takes on a literal interpretation of reverse retro, and that the black and red colors are inverted with the Chicago word mark, inspired by the 2019 Winter Classic. And I guess I see those elements in there, but it's kind of bland, right? And then don't cheat off somebody else's work. And if you're cheating off somebody else's work, don't be Detroit. So Detroit's jersey looks very similar to Chicago's in that it's a word mark. So the 75th anniversary jersey, which I have, they've basically done that with black. Detroit's been listening. There's black in there. There are going to be some Red Wing fans that are very anti having a black themed jersey at all because it does look like other teams. But I've always thought that having that color black around the red logo would look really nice. I don't know because they did a word mark on the front because it's the 75th anniversary jersey they've done a throwback to, which was a throwback to the 1920 jersey that was worn that was Victoria Cougars at that point. It said Detroit Cougars, and I'm like, wouldn't that have been Victoria Cougars in 1920? Wouldn't have been Detroit. Anyway, doesn't matter. Detroit ends up 31st on the board. That's 2 in a row. I will say, this time at least it doesn't look like their regular jersey, but it is it better is the question. Number 30 on the board, I went with Philly. So why Philly? It's a white jersey. There's some orange accents on it. It's basically a reverse of the one that they wore. At least it's similar to the one they wore last time. Philadelphia, there's not a lot to choose from. So they've basically taken the 74 and 75 design and just inverted the red and the orange and been done with it. But it's a white jersey. It's fine. To me, it's a matter of it not looking that different from other jerseys that they've worn. One of the things I used to rank this is how different is it from other jerseys. And so teams that last time out when they did some really fun stuff, maybe this time out, I didn't rank them as high. Number 29, New Jersey. The Devils, they did the Colorado Rockies colors. I know we were all saying, oh, Kansas City, it's the same colors. The colors didn't change when they went from Kansas City to Colorado. So it's a Rockies colored jersey with the striping in the same vein as the Devils when they first got to New Jersey. So it's fine. It's just basically a little bit of a different color scheme. It is a white jersey. Reverse retros this time around, there are more white ones than there were before. I think that's fine too. But yeah, so for New Jersey, it's okay. We'll see what the record's like with them, right? But it is nice to see a throwback there. All right, at 28, well, that's where I've got Ottawa. Ottawa, it's basically a white stripe on their black jersey. Like, I understand there's different elements in there too, but it's something that, and it's funny because I think it was 2 years ago. I know not long after they went back to their original design, I said, how long till they had a white stripe? Because that's what ended up happening with the original jerseys. Just because there was so much black in the jersey and they, it needed that little bit of extra color. And I've talked about that before. But yeah, I'll be interested to see that one in person and see how different it is from the one they had back then. Because I'm not sure I get the reverse part of it. Some of these teams, the reverse part's kind of missing for me. St. Louis is number 27. So I don't feel like I have to worry about, announcing it before I put it on the board because it's a jersey reverse retro ranking. Now, St. Louis went in an interesting direction. They used the 1966 prototype as the one that they used for this jersey, which is yellow. It's bright. It's different, and that's good. But is it nice looking? There's a reason they never used that prototype. I remember pictures of that prototype the first time I saw it and thought, oh man, it's a good thing they never wore that in a game. And here we are. And they looked at it and went, well, white's not quite garish enough. We're going to go with yellow. But it's fine. St. Louis hasn't had a yellow, like a primary yellow jersey before, so it's fine. But again, it does rank 27th because there's a lot of really fun ones. Including at 26, I've got Colorado. So they've done a jersey that has elements of the flag, the Colorado flag, and it has the C from the Colorado flag on it. And it's also, yes, it's Rockies colors, but that's okay. At least there's some Rockies theme in there because the Colorado Rockies used the Colorado flag on their jersey, which was a good tie-in. I thought that was nice as a kid. I didn't know that was the Colorado flag. So it's not bad. It's not that I'm saying it's ugly in 26. It's just, it's kind of there. And again, when I see it in person, we'll see. But at least it's not a Nordiques. There was no Nordiques. There was no Whalers throwback today. And Arizona didn't do a Jets throwback because that'd be weird. Number 25, I've got Anaheim. So basically the rumors with Anaheim were true that it was going to be almost a white version of the orange one they wear. The striping is the same as their first year jerseys. It's okay. I imagine that'll end up being a third for them. There's been rumors that they're going to go back to that Mighty Ducks logo and that their home and away will be themed with the orange as the home and then a white version as the away. So it's possible that reverse retro, you just make minor changes, it becomes your away jersey. All right, so that's the bottom row. I've angered those fans, or some of them, I would think. Number 24, moving into the next row, is San Jose. So they've done a throwback to the Seals, and if it doesn't have white gloves and white skates, what's the point? But hey, it's going to be interesting to see them wearing a Seals throwback. The Seals, of course, moved, and then the team got dissolved, merged with the Minnesota North Stars. And then in the expansion draft for San Jose, there was a theme to that because they were promised a team when everything fell apart with Cleveland and everything. So yeah, I'm glad to see San Jose doing a throwback, and it's okay. It's just a word mark on the front, so I mean it's fine. It is something very different than anything else the Sharks have ever worn. I will say that. Next on the board at number 23, Columbus. So this is where it shows just how really good these jerseys are, and how much I think they did really well. Columbus, I love this jersey, and it's another take on their third jersey. It's not that different from the third. One thing that I can do a video where I go through each jersey that it was based on, and show you guys the ones that are really different, the ones that aren't. To me, with Columbus, it wasn't that different from the third. Now, if they'd done it as a white version, then it would have been a little different. You could see the reverse part of it, but again, it's okay. I think it's an underrated third. I'm glad they're bringing it back. Use that as the third. Take the cannon, make it your primary, deal with it. That's the one everybody wants. A white version of the cannon jersey, you could just print money with that. All right, number 22, higher than I think they were the first time I did a power rankings for reverse retros a few years back, and that's Toronto. Now, Toronto does a throwback to, believe it's the 1962 jersey. And again, it's okay. The one thing with Toronto that does get difficult is the reverse part, because their colors have been blue and white the whole way through. So last time they added gray, it didn't work out that well. This time I think they did better. And I think this is a nice jersey, and I think it'll be really popular. I think we'll see a lot of people wearing it once it comes out. And if you're wondering when they come out, it's November 15th on the NHL site and November 20th through retailers. So I think Toronto did well. But again, this is just a really, really good crop. 21, Carolina. Now, I saw people saying, well, there's nothing retro about this. There is. It's the original Storm flags on that jersey, and it just has the Canes word mark. I think I'm giving them bonus points for not using a Whalers logo. I think I'm happy that the rumors of it being a Whalers jersey proved to be incorrect. I do prefer that Carolina focuses on their history and doing some kind of a mix that way. But that red Canes jersey, I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a third at some point either. So yeah, and again, we've seen the Blasty jersey that was a reverse retro a couple years back. Now Calgary's using that as a third. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these end up being third jerseys. They're really quite nice. Number 20, Nashville. So they did it. They did the mustard cat. They did it, right? We finally got Meth Cat on the front. And it's all gold apparently from head to toe. Some of this sounds like it's going to be color rush ugly, I gotta say. There are some of these where they're like, oh, the jersey's this color, and so are the pants, and so are the socks. And wow, that's going to be just one solid color on the screen, huh? Nashville went with gold, which is fine. That's their want. That's what they want to do. I did see people complaining about the Nashville word mark, but that was part of the original jersey, so that doesn't bother me. It's just, why not blue? Everybody's saying do blue, and they're like, more gold we hear. More gold. Can we get a blue jersey? What's that? You want more gold? Right. We gave you the Smashville one last year. We're not giving you another blue one. I guess that's the attitude. But anyways, yeah, Nashville. I'm glad that they've brought the Meth Tiger back. I just wish it had been in blue. Number 19, Vegas. Vegas is one that I think when I have them, and I've seen them in person, I think Vegas probably moves up. The word mark's big. I mean, one thing that stood out to me in the reveal is that the lettering for Vegas, pretty big. That's going to be some bulky lettering on the front, but that's fine. And if it's a little garish to people, well, it's Vegas. Vegas is supposed to be a little garish. And finally, they've got a black jersey with the white lettering. I like it. I think it's fine. It's a throwback. It's the Wranglers they're throwing back to, isn't it? I've got it all here. Doesn't say. It doesn't say. But they didn't mention what Seattle was throwing back to either. So yeah, it is very Vegas. It not just because it says Vegas, but that's very much that's going to fit right in with all the gift shops and everything on the strip. Number 18, Rangers. Now, if you had told me a few years ago that I would have a Rangers Lady Liberty jersey at 18 on a countdown of best jerseys released in one go, I would have said they're releasing 32 jerseys at once, and then I would have said they have a team in Seattle. And then I would have said, you're crazy if you think I'm going to have the Lady Liberty that low. But it's the same Lady Liberty they had last time, just now it's in Ranger colors. And there you go. It is their standard Ranger colors that they're using for this one. It's fine. It's going to sell really well. People are going to love it. But to me, I kind of thought, I thought they were going to do something along the lines of a white one or, some other kind of mock-up with it. It just, again, there's some safe decisions made with these jerseys, and I think that's one of them. Number 17, Capitals. And I know people are going to be upset with me about Capitals being 17th, but it's the black Screaming Eagle, and they did a red Screaming Eagle last time. So, I mean, the Capitol buildings on the shoulders and all that. I'm going to like it quite a bit when I have it, but it didn't feel like they did as much with this one. Like the red Eagle was great, but a black one, Because again, with these jerseys, it's fun when they do something a little different. I was actually kind of hoping for something a little bit different with Washington, but maybe we'll see something really fun with their outdoor jersey. So now we've got the bottom half of the board filled up. We'll go to 16. The next fan base I'm going to make upset is Buffalo. So you get back the angry goat head. This one's a white one. So it's the goat head, the design from the goat head era, but it's with the modern Buffalo colors. It's fine. It's kind of plain. It's kind of weird, but it seems kind of plain to me. Again, we'll see when I see them in person how different that is. But yeah, Buffalo, I think they did well. Again, I looked at some of the other ones and said, yeah, I just like these ones more. I am glad that the goat head's coming back. I don't think it ever replaces their jerseys now. I think they learned from their mistake with that one. But I do think that'll be permanently featured as a third. The one that they're bringing back now, of course, which has some minor color differences and minor design differences from the original goat head. And this one, I think, probably stays in the circulation as well. Number 15, Pittsburgh. I'm very glad it's not a yellow jersey. Okay, I'm glad it's black. I'm glad that the striping is very similar to the 90s design, and I'm glad it's got the Robo Penguin on the front. That honestly makes a really nice home jersey. And I know there's people who wanted the striping back from the mid 90s one. You'll get it back. I think that'll be a third again at some point. Again, some jerseys I think are meant to be thirds and some are meant to be part of your prime home and aways. And I think that the one that they've released for the reverse retro makes a better home jersey than the original one with the gray shoulders and the weird striping on it. And the striping in the back's bizarre. Again, I'll do a video where I talk about the ones that inspired the reverse retros because most of them I have in the collection. So it's one of those times where I'm like, and I'm glad I have the collection for this reason as well. So yeah, Pittsburgh at 15, which is better than they were last time. At 14, Seattle. Seattle's jersey is a throwback to the Seattle Ironmen. So it's their modern logo on what is basically an Ironman themed jersey. And if you look up Seattle Ironman, you'll see that, yes, that's very similar. I think it's nice. I had expected something Metropolitans themed, but I'm fine with this too. Metropolitans throwback you can do as a third at some point. Still, I think if they had put the anchor on the front, that would have been fantastic too, but I'm not going to complain. The Seattle one is nice, and I expect that one to be a big seller as well, especially since for Seattle you just have home, you have away, now you have this. I had heard the rumors that there'd be a third this year as well, but I haven't heard anything more than just a rumor. In the next spot at 13 will surprise people. It is the Space Coyote. So why? It's a sienna colored jersey, but it's the same as the purple Space Coyote, just it's sienna colored. And apparently they're going to do a black one as a third. I agree with people who are saying so they're going to overdo this coyote design. Yep. And I get why. It was a huge seller, right? This was one that sold out right away, and I expect it to sell out again. But they're going to go to the well too many times, and they're going to find that there is that law of diminishing returns, which is why the Coyotes are in 13th. Because I was like, there's other designs they could have done. We've had the Space Coyote. It's been fun. I understand people are going to be able to add this one to the collection. I don't think it's as nice, though, but I do understand that the color is unique, so there's people who are going to defend that choice. I just thought for the Space Coyote, not as much. Next on the board at number 12, Montreal. Now, what's interesting to me is this is clearly an Expos throwback. When you're looking at the way it's worded from the NHL release, it says... back to life in a new shade of light blue, inspired by the city of Montreal's colors. So they're not saying it's an Expos throwback, even though it's clearly an Expos throwback. The other funny part to me is they said the Canadiens' 1979 uniform. Montreal's jersey hasn't changed in forever. I have numerous Montreal jerseys. I have a Montreal jersey that's dated back to 1950s. Not that it's from the 50s, but it's a recreation of one from the 50s. It's very hard to tell the difference between that and what they wear now. So I always find that interesting. They did that last time out too. This is a throwback too. It's the same jersey. They make very minor changes to the striping, but it's been a long time since they did that as well. So I like what Montreal did. I like the Expos throwback. But I do wonder... So they didn't win wearing the other ones that were blue. These ones are blue as well. They better win wearing these blue ones or else people are going to be convinced that Montreal can't wear blue no matter what. Number 11, Minnesota. So the things I said about Arizona, I'm going to say with Minnesota too. It's a North Stars throwback. It's dated to 1978. It's okay. It's a green one. It's almost top 10, but you know we've done that. So there are other designs Minnesota's had throughout their history as the Minnesota Wild that I think they could have done some fun with a reverse retro of. But I get it. The Minnesota North Stars design sells. Those colors sell. There are people who want to see Minnesota change their colors to the Minnesota North Stars colors. I don't think Dallas would care if they did. So, yeah, Minnesota, I think, did well, just not as creative. Number 10. So when Vancouver's leaked out, I'm one of the few that liked it. And it is the 1962 Vancouver Canucks that had Johnny Canuck on the front. That's why Johnny Canuck looks different. And I like the colors. I like the stripes. We'll see if it's the same when I see them in person. It could very well be quite different. But I think Vancouver did well. It's a retro. It's a reverse version of an old jersey that was worn by the Vancouver Canucks in the WHL. and I think that was nice. So while yeah, I know people might have wanted a skate theme or maybe the flying V, which again they look like grad gowns, but because if you do them in blue and green, they're going to look like you graduated high school. Your colors were blue and green. I swear, every high school has blue and green, or green and white, or blue and white as their colors. So yeah, Vancouver, I think dodges a bullet by not doing a throwback to the Flying V. It's going to happen at some point because in the team store there's Flying V stuff everywhere. Number 9, Boston. So it may surprise people Boston's not in the top row. Boston finally does the Paddington Bear. It's white. I have to say it looks really nice. I do wonder if back in the 90s when they brought in the Paddington Bear, if the problem was the fact it was yellow. So maybe it was that you had the bear on the front and it was a yellow jersey. Those two things combined to make people hate it. Because in white, it absolutely works. It pops. It's fantastic. So we get to the top row. Number 8, top row, Winnipeg. So they did the throwback to the 90s that I wanted. I love the colors. It's a white jersey, which is nice as well. And I think it looks so good. I think this is a fun throwback, and I'm glad we finally get that because I've seen people saying, "No, they shouldn't throw back to that. That logo is terrible." That logo was excellent, and I'm glad they've got a throwback to it. So I'll have another one, and we'll see those at games again and fans wearing them. And it's interesting too because Winnipeg last time out, that jersey you can still find the Winnipeg reverse retro from the first round on sale for like $100 on various sites, and they don't sell. And I get why. Winnipeg, Toronto's another one that really didn't sell the last time around. Number 7, Islanders. So we get the Fisherman jersey. They didn't go full Fisherman though. Like we didn't get the waves. We didn't get all the colors that we got with the Fisherman the first time out. I get why. I get the feeling that Lou probably didn't want the Fisherman on the front of a jersey, but you got to give the fans what they want. So we get the Fisherman back on a jersey, and it is different. So in that way, it's definitely reverse. There's definitely the retro there, and so I think that's kind of fun. So that to me is understanding the assignment, where it's not the same jersey they wore before, or you don't have to use a microscope to figure. Oh, that's where it's different. Magnifying glass. I mean microscope. Go back in time. Forget I said magnifying glass. You shouldn't need a magnifying glass to find the differences in the jerseys, and some of them it feels like you do. Not as much as the first time. Number 6, Tampa. Now, the Storm jersey is ugly. It is. There's no way around it. The white Storm jersey they've revealed, that's ugly too. But it's fun, right? So the last reverse retros they did, they were near the top of the countdown for that as well. They got this right. I think they did quite well. And I never thought we would get the Storm jersey. I never thought it would happen, and here we are. So the Storm jersey is, of course, still my Grail jersey. It's one that I do not have in the collection. I do have a kit version that someone sent me, but I don't have an actual legit version of it. Those are hard to find for less than like $800. I don't know that the price for those comes down on eBay because there's some guys who are going to sell jerseys to try to afford these ones. I don't think the Storm jersey is going to be one of them. Number 5, the LA Kings. The Kings can do no wrong when it comes to jerseys in general. Even though I'm not a huge fan of their current design, and I mean their current home and aways. They've added the sparkling effect to the silver, which is nice. So they changed the silver material. It's very nice now. But these jerseys are fantastic. So it's the 80s design, white. And again, I really wish we'd had those back then. I really wish that had been something they did, because they had gold jerseys for home and purple for on the road. I know, foreign blue. But the white looks really nice. It really pops, and it's a shame that they didn't have those in the 80s, but they have it now, and I think they're going to sell very, very well. So we'll see if that logo sticks around. I kind of hope it does. I kind of think if they use that original logo, you just stylize it a little bit, you put it on their current jersey on the front, I think you got a winner, but we haven't seen that yet. Number 4, Dallas. Oh, Dallas. What a jersey. I'm so happy they went back to not the star. They already did the star. Now they did the design before that, and they just flipped it. And it looks so sharp. I am very impressed. Now, I had seen mock-ups where it was the secondary that was on the front. I would have been okay with that, but I do prefer that Stars wordmark logo on the front. It just looks so nice. And that one may end up being my favorite when I see them, right? That may end up being my favorite overall. We'll see. That may end up being the one. Number 3, Florida fans are going to be surprised they're this high up. But the colors are inverted. They've got a nice blue on the front. I like the light shade of blue. I absolutely love the sun and palm trees on the front. I love that the striping is the same as what they had in the 90s. There's so many elements of this that, yes, this is a throwback, but it's something new, right? And that's what it should be. This is a throwback, and it's something brand new. And most teams got that. Most teams got that, and they understood the idea. And again, definitely better than the first round. Florida, I think, is absolutely fantastic. It's about time that palm tree sun combination got to be a primary on a jersey. It was always one of my favorite secondary logos. Number 2, so you guys should know who the top 2 are. Edmonton. Now here's the interesting thing. I was not a huge fan of the gear jersey when it initially came out. I thought it was pretty derivative of the Kings design, and I'm talking about the early 90s Kings, right? The Gretzky era Kings jersey. And I thought the logo was okay, but this new one is fantastic. This new jersey is absolutely amazing. I think it looks really, really nice. And not only that, that logo, as the years have gone by, I've grown to have a greater appreciation for it. So, yeah, Edmonton's is excellent. That's going to be one of those ones. There are certain jerseys I have in my collection that I'm very protective of, and I get the feeling that's going to be added to the list. Almost all of these will be anyways, but some of them will end up being thirds and not quite as big of a deal. So who's number 1? Calgary. They take the podium jersey. They reversed it. It's black with red, yellow, and white. Nothing overly fancy with it. It's a really nice, simple, loud at the same time, but the jersey was loud. There was no way to do it without it having kind of a garish look to it. I think it's fantastic. So the Calgary one, I knew when I saw it, and I saw the leaks, I thought, yeah, that's going to be my favorite, and it is. So there's my favorites of the reverse retro from 1 through 32. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Which one's your favorite? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.